Climbers Antoine Wade here from Elevate to the Unknown in the Wade Report in nextgenhikes.com. And it is Monday, December the 8th, 2025, 7 a.m. Central. And we are live on the Daily Climb, guys. This weekend, while you were offline, spending time with your family, something extraordinary happened in the battle over AI and American jobs. And it's not what you think. Here's the setup, okay? Thursday and Friday of last week, two United States senators, one Republican, one a Democrat, introduced a new bill. The bill would force companies to report how many jobs that they are cutting because of AI. We want to know how many jobs are being cut because of AI. Every quarter, public reports and no hiding. That's what these senators are doing, looking to do to introduce this bill. The reason why is because they say AI could drive unemployment to 10 to 20% in the next 5 years. Okay. Many of you would be in favor of that, right? And that's one out of every 5 workers potentially being eliminated based on what these senators are thinking that AI is going to do. Okay, so then this weekend, Trump's AI and crypto Caesar, a guy by the name of David Sachs. Okay, he fired back on social media and he said his concerns about AI taking jobs or the media's concerns about AI taking jobs is distorted. He said the media is creating deliberate worry. He said only 6,000 jobs were lost to AI in November, just 5% of the total layoffs. Okay. So we've got bipartisan senators saying that this is a crisis and it's big enough to require legislation so that many people are aware of it. And then we got Trump's AI Caesar saying you're being lied to about AI taking jobs. One of these groups is gaslighting you. And by the end of the show, you're going to know which one. I want you guys to type senators if you trust the bipartisan bill, or type Sachs if you trust Trump's AI Caesar. Type neither if you trust your own eyes, okay? Today, I'm going to show you the gaslighting that happened this weekend, the data that they're hiding, the October jobs that we will never see and will never exist, the reality on the ground, 1.7 million fired in 2025, 2 paths emerging from the data, and which side that you need to be on. That's what today's Daily Climb show is going to be about. Monday, December the 8th, the gaslighting, the cover up, the 2 paths. And ultimately, your choice. Okay? Your choice. Let's climb today, guys. We see Jason in the house. We got Maurice in the house. We got Mr. Governor in the house. We got the Life of Cam in the house. Good to see you guys. We got Ahmed Global in the house, guys. Good to see you all today. Stay with me on this first segment because we're going to get to the business. We're going to get to the business, okay? I need to tell you about what happened this weekend in more depth. Let me start with the timeline because timing matters here. Last week, Thursday and Friday, Senator Josh Hawley from Missouri, he's a Republican, and Senator Mark Warner from Virginia, he's a Democrat, okay? So we got bipartisan here, both sides of the field, left and right. They introduced something called the, quote, AI-related Jobs Impact Clarity Act. Sounds like a whole mouthful, but it sounds just as it is. AI-related, how it's impacting jobs, and we want clarity, and we're making it an act, okay? Bipartisan, both parties agreeing that something needs to happen. So what did this bill do? Well, it's simple. It forces publicly traded companies and federal agencies to report to the Department of Labor every quarter how many people they laid off because of AI, how many jobs they didn't fill because of AI, and how many people that they're retraining because of AI. Okay? That's what they're requiring and requesting to happen. Then the Bureau of Labor Statistics has to publish the public records quarterly and annually, so everyone can see what's really happening in the workplace, in the job force. I want you guys to type transparency in the chat if you see and you agree to something like this happening, okay? Type transparency in the chat. Here's what Senator Hawley said. He said, artificial intelligence is already replacing American workers, and experts project AI could drive unemployment to 10 to 20% in the next 5 years. All right. So the American people need to have an accurate understanding of how AI is affecting our workplace. 10 to 20% unemployment. That means 1 or 2 out of every 10 workers could lose their job to AI. That's what he's saying, okay? Senator Warner said it's even worse for college graduates. He said college graduates' unemployment could hit 25% within 3 to 5 years if we don't address this. 1 out of 4 college graduates unemployed. That's not me saying that, at all. That's the United States Senator, a Democrat, basically warning you of what could be potentially on the way. Okay? So what happened? David Sachs. Let's talk about him. He fired back. Here's what happened this weekend. David Sachs, Trump's AI crypto Caesar. He made a social media post that you see right here on the show, a Twitter post. He said the reports about AI taking jobs are distorted. He said the media is creating, quote, deliberate worry. He said only 6,280 jobs were lost to AI in November, just 5% of the total layoffs. And here's the kicker, he says. He said CEOs are blaming AI to cover up their own poor performance. Dang. That's what he said. He said CEOs are blaming AI to cover up their own poor performance. So he's saying CEOs are lying. Now, let me give you some context on who David Sachs is, okay? Trump appointed him in November 2025 as the White House AI and crypto Caesar. Before that, Sachs was a venture capitalist and he invests in AI companies. He has financial stakes in a bunch of AI companies. Okay. He received 2 White House ethics waivers so he could take this job despite those financial stakes. So he's in bed with some of these AI tech companies and he's an investor in many other companies as well. But he received waivers. Okay. So some people are like, man, like, dude, you already in bed with these guys, but you're working for the White House. So his job is to promote AI adoption in America. That's basically what his job is. So let me make sure I understand this correctly. And I want to make sure that you guys understand this correctly. The guy whose job is to promote AI, who makes money from AI companies, who got 2 ethics waivers because of his AI investments, that guy is saying concerns about AI taking jobs are distorted in, quote, deliberate worry. There's a conflict that's there. If you see the conflict, type conflict in the chat. Okay? Type it in the chat. And here's what bothers me about this. 2 senators from each party looked at the data and said, this is serious enough that we need to force companies to report what they are doing. They're not saying ban AI. They're not saying stop the innovation or the implementation. They're saying just tell us the truth, give us the numbers, let the American people see what's happening. That's what they're saying. That's transparency. And the response from the White House to AI Caesar is you're being lied to. The media is creating deliberate worry, and this isn't a problem. That's not transparency at all. That's gaslighting, in my opinion. Okay? Lots of gas coming in. And here's the thing that really gets me. David Sachs says only 6,000 jobs were lost to AI in November, but November jobs report hasn't been released yet. So it's been delayed until December the 16th. So how does he know about November? How does he know about the AI layoff data when we don't even know, when we don't even have November total employment numbers? That data hasn't been released yet, and it's not scheduled to be released until sometime next week. So something's not adding up. If I think about the data, something's not adding up. So here's the question that you need to ask yourself. Do you trust bipartisan senators who are forcing transparency? Or do you trust Trump's AI Cesar, who has financial stakes in AI companies? And he's basically saying AI ain't responsible for these job losses, and it's the CEO's poor performance that's doing it. Type senators for the bipartisan bill. Type Sachs for the AI Cesar. Okay. Type eyes if you trust what you see. All right. Put it in the chat. All right. So that's what happened this weekend. Bipartisan senators introduced a bill to force AI layoff transparency. This weekend, Trump's AI Cesar said it is all distorted and it's deliberate, but there's something else that they're hiding. The October jobs data report, it will never exist. In this next segment, we're going to be talking about the data that they're hiding and why. Okay. There's a lot of data that's out there that we aren't getting access to. And the reason we need to know about this data. All right. Now I'm going to show you the data that they're hiding about American jobs. So we just talked about Sachs. He says AI job losses, the concerns about it, they are distorted. So we're overhyping this whole thing. The media, like myself, he's basically saying, Antoine, you know what? You keep reporting on the AI job losses and you're talking about the economy and so forth. It's not about AI, Antoine. That's basically what he's saying. He's saying, Antoine, you need to calm down a bit because you're just causing mass concerns. So I'll say, okay, Mr. Sachs, if that's what you think, but I need to see the data. So let me show you what's actually distorted. The jobs data itself. The jobs report was supposed to come out on last Friday, which is December the 5th. All right. It didn't. It's been delayed until December the 16th. That's 11 days late. Here's the part that should terrify you. The October unemployment rate will never be known. Not delayed, not missing, never. The government shutdown in October prevented them from collecting the household survey data. That's the survey data they use to calculate unemployment rate. And here's what makes this pretty historic. This is the first time in 77 years. Now that's true data for you. The first time in 77 years that the Labor Department will not release a complete unemployment rate for a given month. So we are in December. The November jobs report is delayed. The October unemployment rate doesn't exist. And Trump's AI Cesar is out here saying AI job losses are distorted and Antoine is blowing a whole bunch of smoke. And we're creating deliberate worry. That's what he's basically saying. Okay. Now, here's what we do know. Despite the delays and the missing data. Through November 2025, U.S. employers announced 1.17 million layoffs. That's the highest layoff level since 2020, when the pandemic hit. It's up 54% from 2024. Let me say it again. 54% more layoffs this year than last year. Okay, massive. Now, David Sachs says only 6,000 of those workers were from AI in November. But let's look at what Challenger Gray and Christmas, the firm that tracks layoffs, actually reported. Through October, they documented 54,694 job eliminations attributed to AI. That's through October, not November. And here's another number. In October alone, 31,000 layoffs were attributed to AI. 31,000. I want you guys to type 31K in the chat if you heard that. So Sachs is basically saying this. November dropped 6,000. That's an 80% drop from October to November. Does that make sense to you? It doesn't make more sense that the guy whose job is to promote AI is cherry picking numbers to make it sound better than it is. I see. And I'm assuming a whole bunch of cherry picking that's going on right here. That's the thing with data as well, too. You can cherry pick whatever you want to share with people to create your own stories. That's the power of data. That's the power of understanding data. Well, the Federal Reserve Beige Book, that's their report on economic conditions, confirmed in November. A few firms noted that artificial intelligence replaced entry-level positions or made existing workers productive enough to curb new hiring. And that's the Federal Reserve, not the media. Okay? That's the Federal Reserve saying that, not the media. Deliberate worry, this man is saying. All right? The Federal Reserve said that. MIT, they released a study showing that AI can already replace 11.7% of U.S. workforce, of the U.S. workforce. That's about 20 million workers. $1.2 trillion in wages. MIT released that report. We talked about it on the show. And it didn't say it was sometime in the future. It said right now. You guys know you're using AI right now. It's making you productive if you've used it enough. It's making you productive. You're a digital, whatever it is that you are right now. If you are a project manager, now you are an AI project manager. You use tools to make you do a lot more work and become more efficient. You know that AI can help eliminate jobs. And it's not just the tool itself. Maybe it is the tool itself because there is a lot of automation that's going on, especially around bots. Okay. But some people will say it's not AI. It's the people that's using AI. Whatever you want to call it, it's all attributed to AI. So when David Sachs says AI job loss concerns are distorted, he's either number one, lying, or number two, he hasn't read the Federal Reserve's report or MIT's research, or he hasn't watched the Daily Climb. What do you think is happening here? I want you guys to type lying in the chat if you think Sachs knows the truth and is spinning it. Or if he's ignorant, type ignorant in the chat if he genuinely doesn't know. Both? Type both. If there's a mix. Okay? Let me know. And look, I know this first segment, it's a lot of information to process. Jobs data delayed, October unemployment doesn't exist. David Sachs saying one thing, senators saying another. That's why every single weekday mornings, I send out a newsletter that recaps the Daily Climb show. Everything that we cover today, the Sachs gaslighting, the Holly Warner bill, the hidden data, it'll be in your inbox waiting for you at 11:30 a.m. Central. Check out the link in the description of this video. It is free. Sign up. Free newsletter. All this information in your inbox so that you have it. And we started off with the bottom line first. So you know exactly what's going on before you have to read the rest of it, if you choose to read the rest of it. This stuff is moving fast and you need to stay on top of it. That's why we created the newsletter. Okay? The administration is delaying the data. They're hiding the data and they're telling you not to worry. But what about the reality on the ground? What's actually happening to workers right now? On this next segment, we're going to talk about the numbers that they can't hide, the layoffs, the struggles, the people. All right, we're going to talk about some stories in this next segment. Stay with me, guys. Now I'm going to show you the reality on the ground that they can't hide. We talked about this last week a little bit as well, too. While David Sachs is on social media saying AI job losses are distorted, while the Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, is saying the American people don't know how good they have it. While President Trump is calling affordability concerns, quote, a Democratic scam. Here's what's actually happening. And here's what actually happened last week. Okay? We talked about this. I just want to make sure that you guys are in the know. The ADP National Employment Report. It came out last Wednesday. We talked about it on Thursday. Okay? Came out while we was doing the show. But it tracks private sector jobs. Economists expected a gain of 40,000 jobs in November. Instead, we lost 32,000 jobs. That's a 72,000 job swing from the expectations. You're expected to 40, but you lost 32. 72,000 job swing. You guys kept following me on the math, type math in the chat. But here's the part that should scare the majority of us. Small businesses, that's companies with 1 to 49 employees. They cut 120,000 jobs in November alone. Okay? 120,000 jobs in November alone. 120,000 in 1 month. Now, medium-sized businesses, companies with 54 to 99 employees, they gain 90,000 jobs. Large businesses, 500 plus employees, okay? They gain as well too. But the small businesses are getting crushed. Getting absolutely crushed. Okay? Largest gaining, medium size is gaining. We talked about the ADP chief economist. Small businesses are the small business sector. It's a warning signal for the economy. And it's a leading indicator of the broader labor market weakness because supposedly the majority of Americans work for small businesses. When small businesses start firing this many people, a recession usually follows. That's the data. If you work for a small business, type small biz in the chat. Or if you own a small business yourself, you may be a business owner, type small biz in the chat. And if you are, you probably are living what we're talking about here. I've come across a lot of TikTok videos and Instagram videos of people struggling working for small businesses. Tariffs, all that impacting small businesses. And it's not like you got a lot of pull as a business owner when you're a small business. No, you're a small business. You don't have a lot of say so in what's going on a lot of the times with suppliers and all that. Now, moving on, let me show you who's getting crushed the hardest. Okay. Your people in college. CBS, they published a story last week with this headline. Finding work after college is often a painful slog. Painful slog, they said. Youth unemployment that's ages 16 to 24 is at a 10.4 to 10.8%. That's more than double the national average. Okay. Recent college graduates ages 22 to 27 have an unemployment rate of 9.3%. That's the highest outside of the pandemic since 2014. 52% of the class of 2023 is working jobs that don't require a college degree. That's more than half of them. Entry-level jobs now require 3+ years of experience. That's entry level. 3 years of experience. How does that math work? Well, that math works because you got to do internships. While you're in school, you have to work while you're in school. You have to work in the summer. Fortune magazine published a piece saying this: the kids aren't all right. The kids aren't all right. The kids are hurting right now. The kids looking at the world, especially in the U.S., saying this ain't right. I go to school. I'm told to go to school. I'm told to get good grades. I'm told to go to college, and I can't get a job. It's no wonder they may be voting a certain way in the next couple of years, ways that you may not agree with. Oxford Economics warned that unemployment or unemployed Gen Z are increasingly living with their parents because they can't find work. And Senator Warner, the Democrat who co-sponsored the AI jobs bill, he said college graduates' unemployment could hit 25% in 3 to 5 years. 1 out of every 4 college grads unemployed. So when our friend David Sachs says concerns about AI taking jobs are distorted, and we are in the media causing deliberate worry, you know he's full of shit. Go ask the Gen Z kids who sent out 300 plus applications and got 2 interviews or got no interviews. Go ask the people who got laid off and been laid off for 7 to 8 months. Go ask them. Go look at the videos on TikTok and people talking about how hard it is to find a job. Ask them. Ask them if their worry is deliberate or it's real. Go ask the people who are making $150,000 a year and still feel like they're living paycheck to paycheck. And they're scared of leaving their jobs. Go ask them. Let me show you the financial reality, okay? A report called the Wage Reality Report found that 73% of Americans cannot afford anything beyond essential expenses. 73%. They're calling it the wage crisis of 2025. What are people worried about? 55 say rising housing costs. 41% say it's increasing prices of daily necessities. 34% says salaries not keeping pace with inflation. 33% says difficulty saving for emergencies. And 41% says financial stress is affecting their ability to perform at work. Financial stress costs U.S. employers an estimated $200 billion a year. That's what the data says. Let me show you the federal workers. DOGE, right? The Department of Government Efficiency has been cutting federal workers all year. 293,753 direct layoffs through October. Another 20,976 layoffs from the DOGE downstream impact. So that's when federal funding gets cut and private companies or nonprofits have to lay people off. Total over 300,000 government-related jobs cuts this year, and it's impacting small businesses as well. So all of this is adding up. And here's the chaos. Workers are getting fired, rehired, then fired again. The Department of Health and Human Services initially fired 1,760 workers. Then they rescinded about half of them. Now it's down to 954. But who knows what it'll be next? Politico's headline said this: DOGE-style layoffs are here to stay. So you've got federal workers living in constant fear. You've got Gen Z grads who can't get hired despite degrees in debt. You got small businesses firing 120,000 people in 1 month. And you got 73% of workers who can't afford beyond essentials. That's what's going on in the economy today, guys. That's what the data is telling us. Real quick, though, if you're getting value from this show, before we move on, make sure you do me a favor and hit the like button. If you're new to this channel and haven't hit the subscribe button yet, hit the subscribe button. We are The Daily Climb. And we do this show Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Central. Every weekday morning, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Central. Because somebody needs to cut through the BS and tell you what's really happening. make sure you hit the like button and the subscribe button. It helps more people find this content, okay? 120,000 small business workers fired. Gen Z unemployment, 9.3%. 73% can't afford essentials. That's the reality. And David Sachs says, distorted. But here's what I want to show you next. While all of this is happening, there are people who saw it coming. And they prepared. And they adapted. And they positioned themselves. And they're balling out. So here's what you're going to learn right here. You're going to learn that this show, if you're new here, gives you solutions. You're going to learn that we're just not going to talk about the doom and gloom. You're going to learn that there's two paths that has emerged, and you can win. Stay with me in this next segment. In order for you to win, you got to be prepared. If you're not prepared, you're going to be part of the casualties. Stay with me, okay? Stay with me on this next segment. Now I'm going to show you the two paths that have emerged from all of this chaos. So we've established that the administration is gaslighting many of us, calling me, saying that I'm distorting the view of what's really happening out here. When I'm the one who's talking to people and on coaching calls, and people are scared and people are being put on pips and people are like, you know what, I want to move, but I don't know if I should be doing that right now. But I'm the one that's distorting, gaslighting people. We already know that data is being delayed, hidden, or erased. Meanwhile, workers are getting crushed. But here's the thing. Not everyone is getting crushed. Over the weekend, I got a chance to read a bunch of stories from the Business Insider and other outlets. And it wasn't just over the weekend. It was this morning as well, too. What I'm learning is that there's a pattern that's emerging, and that's what the data is showing. There's a pattern that's emerging. And there's two groups of people. Path one, people who saw this coming and prepared. Right? People who, when ChatGPT was released in 2022, boy, people was like, man, this is going to be something. And they started prepared. You're like, you know what? I got to get involved in this AI stuff. I got to start creating AI content. I got to start using this tool to better myself, to become efficient. I got to dive deeper into it, to get a new job and become irreplaceable. Got to create a side business, whatever it is, right? They were prepared. And then there's path two. People who are waiting for 2019 to come back. Let me show you what I mean here, okay? Story number one. We're going to talk about a gentleman by the name of Ace. Ace is 18 years old. And she's a high school student in Singapore. Okay, that's Ace. In March of this year, she started building an AI career tech startup. Launched it in July, has a team of 10 people, 3 are interns. I want you guys to type 18 in the chat. If you see how young she is in high school with a tech startup. Here's her schedule, she says. I want you guys to take notes on this. She's up at 6 a.m. She commutes to school for an hour. She's working during that hour. School until 3 or 4 p.m. But every single lunch break that she has for the past year, she spent working on her startup. She gets home, works on the startup until about 2 or 3 a.m. Then she sleeps for 3 to 4 hours and does it again. I want you guys to type 3 hours in the chat. 3 hours of sleep, she says. And this is a high schooler. She's working with people in New York. She's working with people in San Francisco, different time zones. So sometimes she's taking calls during school lectures. And here's the kicker that she says. She's still going to college. She rejects the Silicon Valley, quote, dropout myth. She says, I didn't want to wait on entrepreneurship, and I'm fortunate to be at an age where I can risk practically everything. She's 18, building an AI startup, going to college, sleeping 3 hours a night. While Sachs says AI concerns are distorted. That's what an 18-year-old is doing. If you guys don't get some power from out of these stories, like to say to yourself, man, I'm sleeping 7, 8 hours a night, or I'm sleeping 12, or I said I don't have time. But yet you have an 18-year-old who's working, around the clock, going to school, sleeping for 3 hours, hustling. I don't know, man. Might put things in perspective for you to say, I could be doing more. Story number 2, Rahul Kasangatu. Rahul was 32. He worked in customer success at Google. When generative AI hit in 2023, I said 2022 earlier, wasn't it? Didn't I? It was actually 2023, apparently. Well, he wanted to get into it when it hit the mainstream. So he started upskilling for 2.5 years, he says. Okay. His daughter was born in April of 2023. Google gave him a generous paternity leave. He used that time to start reading books about AI. Over 2.5 years, he's read 11 books, took courses from Andrew NG, built solo projects, applied to 4 to 5 different AI roles at Google. 6 months ago, he transitioned to a Google Cloud customer engineer, specialized in AI and machine learning. 2.5 years of grinding while working full time, while raising a newborn. He said this: persistence is necessary and is a concept in machine learning, so it takes time to internalize, but you have to be persistent. Great story, ain't it? Then you got Kamal. Kamal is 39. She used to be an actress. The pandemic ended her acting career. You know what happened to the actors during the pandemic, right? Had to become bartenders and Uber drivers and all that sort of stuff because they couldn't make movies. So Kamal, she pivoted to marketing, started creating content about crypto and gaming. In 2024, she joined a gaming company called Mighty Bear Games. The company had a company-wide AI mandate. 50% of your output has to use AI. At first, she was intimidated. Okay, she's not a technical person. She tried to learn coding twice and got bored. But she saw people at the company doing amazing things with AI, so she learned. Now she uses AI to automate boring tasks like monthly reporting and sending out invoices. She saves at least 1 hour a day with AI. She said this: I've unlocked more time to be creative. I want you guys to type 1 hour in the chat if you're saving at least 1 hour a day with AI. Type it in the chat. Story number 4, Christy Cotier. Christy was an Amazon executive, global merchandising leader, 38 years old. Okay. 2 years in her role, she was burnt out, working 80-hour weeks, no feedback from leadership. Anxiety was filling every moment. She realized that in this world that she was working in, what does burnout feel like? Is this what burnout feels like, working 80 hours a week? Here's what she did without telling anyone at Amazon. She started sleeping, reading novels before bed instead of emails, eating lunch every day, even if it was at her desk, taking short walks around the block, saying no to extra projects that didn't benefit her career. She found a therapist, worked on her mindset. She said this: pushing through the burnout won't make you better at your job. Okay? The numbness, the frightened, the sleeplessness. That version of you can't fire on all cylinders. So she recovered. She left Amazon in 2018 after 12 years. All right. Pushing through burnout won't make you better at your job. That version of you can't fire on all cylinders. You have to own your time, guys. It's basically what she's saying. You have to know when to put it down. It's basically what she's saying. So those are 4 people on path 1. Ace didn't wait to go to college to start building. AI startup, living in Singapore, working with people from San Francisco and other parts of the US. Rahul used paternity leave to start the upskill. Komal embraced the AI mandate that initially scared her. Christy learned to work smarter, not harder. Now let me show you path 2. Okay? Path 2. Let's talk about Miles. Miles is in his late 50s, lives in New York. In October of 2022, he lost his contract, software engineering role at a technology company, okay? Matter of fact, it wasn't a technology company. It is a technology company. It's AT&T. So he's been job hunting for 3 years. 3 years, guys. He applied to hundreds of jobs, including a barista position at Starbucks. Hasn't gotten an offer. Recruiters keep telling him to embellish his resume, and he refuses. He said this: the industry has become addicted to finding the Goldilocks candidates. They want somebody exactly that fits what they're looking for. So he's become what he calls a hyper minimalist. Used to having multiple cars, now drives a single 15-year-old vehicle, down to a couple of backpacks worth of stuff. Still searching. He's still hoping. Okay? This is him. One person. All right? Miles. Late 50s. Let's talk about another one. Story 2. The 120,000 small business workers who were fired. They lost their jobs in November. Professional services. 26,000 layoffs. Manufacturing, 18,000. Construction, 9,000. Financial activities, 9,000. No stories yet because it just happened. But they're out there right now, updating resumes, wondering what happened. Story number 3, the parents ruining their kids' chances. I came across this article on Business Insider today. Scott Tannen, he's the CEO of a betting company called Bowl and Branch. He said parents regularly contact him on LinkedIn asking him to hire their kids. One parent showed up at his office with their son demanding him to interview him. The son didn't say a word. Ain't that something? Got your mom coming to the office to tell a boss to hire you. Another parent called the customer service line on a Black Friday weekend asking about internships. I want you guys to type parents in the chat if that's you. Tannen said this: all you're telling me is that your kid is incapable of working independently. Those parents think that they're helping their kids, but they are destroying their kids' chances. So that's path 2. Miles has real software engineering experience, but can't get hired for 3 years. 120,000 small business workers got blindsided. Parents are teaching their kids to be helpless instead of resourceful. Here's the brutal truth. Miles Bradley has more experience than Ace. Okay? He's 50 plus years old and she's 18. But Ace is building an AI startup while Miles can't get hired. Why? Because the economy has been reorganized. It's not about experience anymore. It's not about credentials. It's about preparation. It's about adaptation. It's about positioning yourself. I want you guys to type path 1 in the chat if you're preparing. Like Ace, Rahul, Kumal, and Christy. Type path 2 if you're just hoping that things will go back to 2019 like Miles is. Let me know. Put it in the chat. And check this out. If you want path 1, how to be prepared, you need a community around you. That's why we built the Patreon. Check out the Patreon, link into the description of this video. Ladder climbers are in the Patreon. You get access to weekly calls. We just had a call this past weekend on how to land that 6-figure job and the strategies that we've learned from my coaching sessions, as well as the articles that we've come across in Business Insider. Had a great conversation on Saturday and took it for a lot past that as well too. Okay. Check out the Patreon, www.patreon.com/Black Heights. That is how you move from path 1. Okay. That's how you move in path 1 if you become part of the Patreon. Let's talk about path 2. Well, you become part of the Patreon. You go from path 2 to path 1 because you got a community around you. All right. So a recap of this segment. Ace, 18, building an AI startup, 3 hours of sleep a night. Raul, 2.5 years of upskilling while raising a newborn. Kamal embraced an AI mandate and saves 1 hour a day. Miles, 50 plus years old, unemployed, despite experience. 2 paths have emerged. Okay. You got to determine what path you're going to be on. And while all this is happening, you got 2 senators that said enough. In this next segment, we're going to talk about the bipartisan bill that could force transparency in the AI world, especially in the job market. Stay with me on this segment, guys. I'm about to show you the bipartisan senators who said enough. You got Senator Josh Hawley, a Republican from Missouri, and Senator Mark Warner, a Democrat from Virginia. These guys typically don't agree on much, but they agree on this. They introduced the AI Related Jobs Act, Clarity Act. Okay? AI Related Jobs Impact Clarity Act. And here's what it does. It requires publicly traded companies and federal agencies to report to the Department of Labor every single quarter how many people they laid off because of AI, how many jobs they didn't fill because of AI, how many people they're retraining because of AI. Then the Bureau of Labor Statistics publishes it publicly in reports and does it quarterly and annually. So we have an opportunity to get to the data. That's it. It's not blaming AI. It's not stopping innovation. It's just saying, tell us the truth, guys. Tell us the truth. Let the American people see what's really happening. Okay. Senator Hawley said this. Artificial intelligence is already replacing American workers, and experts project AI could drive unemployment to 10 to 20% in the next 5 years. Says the American people need to have an accurate understanding of how AI is affecting our workforce. And Senator Warner said the bill addresses the real code red in college, the graduate market. He said college graduates' unemployment could surge to 25% within 3 to 5 years if AI issues aren't addressed. Type 25%. That's 1 out of 4, guys. It's a quarter. But here's the thing. What is it that the bill would expose? A Republican and a Democrat looked at the same data and came to the same conclusion. This is serious enough that we need to force companies to report what they are doing. And then David Sachs, the Trump AI Cesar, goes on social media and says, nah, this is distorted. You're creating a whole bunch of deliberate worry. Here's what the bill would expose. How many jobs AI actually eliminates. Okay? Not Sachs. Spin the numbers. The bill would show which companies are replacing workers. What retraining efforts exist, if any. Were there job losses? Where are they at? Are they concentrated by industry? Geography? So it's a transparency bill. It's a good bill, I personally think myself. After reading up about this thing, I'm like, oh, this is perfect. You want to see? The data should be out there, right? You don't want things just to happen all of a sudden and nobody knows. Okay? But here's who's going to fight for this bill. The Trump administration, because transparency makes gaslighting harder. Okay? Big companies, because they don't want you to know what they're doing. The AI industry, because the truth is bad for business. Okay? But you know who supports it? Workers. People on path 2 who want to understand what's happening. People on path 1 who want the data to make better decisions. Bipartisan senators who see the same crisis that you and I see. We support it. I'm supporting this bill because I want to see exactly what's happening. Who's going to fight this bill? You already know it. The administration, big companies, and the AI industry. Let's talk about something else now. This Wednesday, December the 9th, or that's tomorrow, actually, Tuesday. All right. The Federal Reserve meets. 90 to 95% probability that they're going to cut interest rates by 0.25%. Markets are going to love it. But here's what you need to understand. The battle lines are drawn and you are on one side, whether you realize it or not. Side 1, the administration. Bessent said you don't know how good you have it. Trump says affordability is a con job. Sachs says AI job losses are distorted and I'm creating panic. Their strategy, delay the data, hide reports, dismiss concerns, and gaslight. Side 2, bipartisan senators. Hawley, Republican, says AI could drive unemployment 10 to 20%. Warner, Democrat, college grads, unemployment could hit 25%. Their strategy, force transparency, track AI impact, show the American people the truth. Side 3, your own eyes. 1.7 million layoffs in 2025. 120,000 small business workers fired in November. Gen Z, they're facing a painful slog, they said, despite having degrees. 73% of people can't afford beyond essentials. October jobs data will never exist. Which side do you trust? That's a question for you. I trust my own eyes. I trust what the data shows me. I trust what I research. I trust what data that I'm able to collect and see. I'm not going to listen to somebody say that this is all distortion. When you can go on social media, you can talk to people in the real world and see that they're struggling. I'm going to trust my own eyes. That's what I'm going to trust. And not to say anything about the administration because, you know, there are some things that's working well. But to some people, there's not. So we got to talk about it. All right. This weekend, Trump's AI Cesar said your job concerns are distorted Treasury Secretary said this: you don't know how good you have it. Markets closed near all-time highs. The Fed is cutting rates on this week. But also this weekend, 2 senators, one Republican and one Democrat, introduced a bill to force AI layoff transparency, which I think is absolutely fantastic because they know what you know. The data is being hidden, delayed, or erased. Because here's the thing. It makes this first year look bad. That's what it does. It makes the first year look bad. Okay. Choice 1, believe the administration. Trust David Sachs, accept that your concerns are distorted. Choice 2, believe the senators. Support the Holly Warner bill. The demand for companies to be transparent. Choice 3, believe your own eyes. Trust what you're experiencing. Prepare accordingly. I'll tell you what I believe. Choice 3. I believe Ace, who's sleeping 3 hours at night, building an AI startup at 18. I believe Raul, who spent 2.5 years upskilling while raising a newborn. I believe Komal, who was scared of AI and now uses it to save an hour a day. I believe Christy, who recovered from burnout by working smarter. And I believe Miles, who's been searching for 3.5 years and can't find work despite experience. I believe the 120,000 people, the small business owners, who got let go in the month of November and lost their jobs. I believe the Gen Z grads facing, a painful slog and who can't find jobs, because I've talked to some of them. I believe the 73% who can't afford beyond essentials, because I've talked to them too. What I don't believe, though, is that the AI job losses are distorted. What I don't believe is that Besant telling me you don't know how good you have it. Now, I'm gotta say, I live in the United States, so it's good, right? Life's good. Got a nice little YouTube channel where I got 112 people watching me this morning. Life's good. Working in AI, selling the same solutions. That's eliminated jobs. Life's good. Okay. But the data that they're hiding really tells the truth. The October unemployment rate that we will never exceed, or it never exist, that will tell the truth. The November jobs report, which is delayed 11 days, that's going to tell the truth. We're going to cover it on this show. The 1.7 million layoffs in 2025, that's going to be the truth, because have you seen it all over LinkedIn? Tomorrow, we're going to dive a little bit into the Fed decision. Okay. We're going to talk about Oracle earnings later on this week. Are AI investments paying off? We're going to talk about more positioning. We're going to talk about more stories from the front lines. But today, December the 8th, you have 8 days until Microsoft certifications are closed. All right. That's what you got. You got 8 days. You have healthcare companies that's hiring 40,000 plus workers per month. So look into the AI or the technology companies or the healthcare companies that's looking for AI specialists. Look at them. You have AI tools that can save you. Look into them, learn them, use them. The question isn't what the Fed does on Wednesday, the question or Tuesday. The question isn't whether the administration is telling the truth or not. It's what are you going to do about it? That's the question. And remember, guys, if you guys want all of this research in your inbox, delivered to your inbox every single day, 10:30 Mountain Time, 11:30 a.m. Central, Monday through Friday, sign up for the newsletter. Link into the description of this video. All right. We got over 1,000 people sign up to our newsletter and over 40% actually read it. I had a buddy of mine tell me this weekend, he was like, man, Antoine, man, I get your reports every single day. I get your newsletter. I read the bottom line first, man. It was one time that you didn't have the bottom line in there. I was like, what in the hell is he doing? So I got to make sure the bottom line's up there first. My brother, good Damien, just spent some time with him this weekend. Guys, if you want the full playbook, check out the Patreon community, www.patreon.com. We got a upskilling tracker in there. Okay. We're going to create the upskill tracker based on what Raul did, the 11 books, the courses, the solo projects that will be delivered this upcoming weekend. Okay. Patreon.com/Black Heights. Check it out. And by the way, if you're getting value from this show, hit the like button and subscribe to the Daily Climb. Subscribe to Elevate to the Unknown. We do this every single weekday, 7 a.m. Central. I'm cutting through all the BS and showing you exactly what's happening in the real world out here. Okay? Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you don't miss a show. This is the Daily Climb. Path 1, independence. Path 2, irreplaceable. Where you stay in the middle, you're going to get crushed. You better determine which path that you choose and choose this week. Guys, make sure you have a powerful Monday. Crush your day today. I'm going to be traveling to New York tomorrow. I will have this show in the studio, but then Wednesday and Thursday and Friday morning, I will have some pre-recorded shows for you guys for those days. All right. There will be some good ones. They will be the best of the Daily Climb, all collaborating and put together. I got to work with my editor on that one. But guys, enjoy your day. Go out there and crush it. And Sarah A2 Iffy says suggestions on where and how to learn AI. I get those suggestions every single day. You will see those in the news, in the newsletter as well too, Sarah. We did the Race to Oracle certifications. That was around AI. You got Coursera, right? That I partner with. Okay. Check out Coursera. Link in the description of this video as well too. There's many places that you can go to learn AI. Okay. There's free. You can check out YouTube. You can check out MIT's free courses. You can check out Harvard's free courses. All that information is you will find throughout these shows in the newsletter or either on the channel where I do pre-recorded videos as well too. There's tons of places where. Good to see you, Big Suggs. Good to see you, Sarah. Good to see you. Buy the book. Life of Cam. Time for us to get on the call. Oman Nike, good to see you. Stacy, good to see you as well. Wayne Yu says transparency, good to see you. Guys, go and crush your day. Thank you so much for joining me on this Monday. And we'll see you guys on tomorrow. Take care now. Bye-bye.